it's your buddy Peace and Harmony here with you here today, looking at the parasitic nature of the psychopath and to some extent the narcissist. As we've discussed before in the past, the personality disorder, the character disordered individual who uses others, who takes advantage of others, who exploits others. Basically, exploitation means the putting people in danger to satisfy their own means. For example, a pharmaceutical company that releases a drug to make a lot of money that puts people in danger. They're exploiting these people. They're taking advantage of them. They're taking for granted their lack of knowledge. They're taking for granted that they don't know better, and they're kind of putting the trust in this larger entity to provide them what is good for them. The same kind of experience occurs with a relationship with the bad boy or the bad girl, the narc. And one thing that people really don't realize is that at first you thought it was a collaborative relationship, not a competitive relationship. Now there's a big distinction between collaboration, working together, using your collaborative, the entirety of the whole, your talents, your insights, your opinions. There's a collaboration which is very productive, and then there's competition where there's always a winner and a loser. Now the narcissist, since they really only have their own ends in mind, they really, and the psychopath as well, they really do not see beyond their own needs. They do not. It just does not register to them. I mean, on a physiological basis, they're lacking in the machinery in their brain. They literally do not have. There's gaps. There's large black holes, basically in their brain, in the gray matter, where usually there's normal kind of activity. Especially, I believe it's in the corpus callosum, a certain area that is active for emotions and reward centers, punishment centers. They're just lacking in the narcissist and to a larger degree in the psychopath. And specifically, it's categorized in the DSM-4R as a lack of empathy. That's what we outwardly see, is that they just don't, they can't understand. They don't have a human, compassion. They don't have that ability, that emotional intelligence to connect with people. That's what we see. However, realize and identify, and I think this will help you in your healing, is to identify and know that there's actually a physiological lacking. In their hardware, in their vehicle, so to speak, the equipment is damaged, and oftentimes, people wonder, are these people aware of this? And it's really quite commonly known that, to a large extent, they are aware of that. And in fact, in the psychopath, a lot of them are very cold and calculating in terms of their exploitation of people. They're taking advantage of people. They know that they're hurting people. It's like they can see what we can't see. There's things that they know about people that we can't know. They know how to push people's buttons. They know how to get them to falter. They know how to wound them. They have this in mind, and it seems so counterproductive to me, because why would you want to wound somebody? What good would that get you? To me, it just seems so counterproductive, so counterintuitive. I am coming more from a perspective, really for my entire life, of, I enjoy being able to help people. I don't understand, where they would get off, energized and excited on trying to hurt people and wound them. But this is how they are. This is how they operate. This is their deficit, and this is what they try to basically impair you with a lot of their approach. And they do have what's called a parasitic approach. And we think there are existing things in nature that are parasitic in nature, which means, that there's the parasite, which the bug can only live off of the host. So, I don't know, what are some parasites in nature? Let's just call them parasites. I don't know if lice, head lice, I've never had head lice, but I believe, for example, head lice, and it's kind of a disgusting, example, but head lice, they need a host to live on. They're parasitic in nature. Other animals, like other farm animals, they might have parasites or fleas or things like that. I believe those are also parasitic in nature. And what that means is that the bug, in this case, I know it's kind of a dramatic parallel or correlation, but they do have a parasitic nature. In this situation, the psychopath, they do have a parasitic nature, meaning that they live off of other people just like a flea needs to live off of a host. What else do we say? A head lice needs to live off of a host. In other words, if they were not to, live on that animal, a flea on that animal, that they would basically die. They can't get the nutrients, they can't get the blood, whatever it is, nourishment that they take from their host, they would die. Well, the psychopath has a parasitic nature, meaning that they would literally not be able to sustain themselves if they could not feed themselves with all the reactions and all the different comments and love and affection and ego feeding that other people give to them. They're really not able to be alone. They feel very much like empty shells. I've heard the psychopath say that, he needs people. I need people too, but not in the way that he does. I'm very autonomous. I'm self-directed. I am, self-governing. I have control over my emotions. I'm not looking for reactions from people. I don't relish in that. I don't really need it. Of course, everybody likes acknowledgement, but that's not my main driving feature. That's not my main driving factor. It doesn't thrill me up to the point where it's like what I live for. I live for humanity, and I live to, embrace life and enjoy life and to help others who need it. So, and it's not like my life, won't go on. I'm just doing what I'm doing. And if I can help people, if I can instruct them, people in need, that's kind of like my passion. And it's what I care about. It's important to me. I think there's a need for it, and it's just kind of interwoven into the fabric of who I am as a person. But it's important to realize that the psychopath, and to some degree the narcissist, has a parasitic nature, which means that's why they have this ability, they have this need, they have this unquenchable drive to find a various host that they can live off. It is that serious, and it is that deep, and it's almost as if they thrive on the extent of the wound that they can inflict on others. And I haven't asked a psychopath that, but I do know that they are dangerous. It's just I don't know if they get more of a thrill out of hurting one person more than the other. That would be an interesting question to research and study on an empirical basis. However, realize that they know that they hurt people, and oftentimes, a narcissist will be quite humored by seeing another get hurt. They laugh and they chuckle when they have pulled one over on people. They just don't register a sense of guilt or remorse. They're lacking in the equipment. They're lacking in the physical equipment to do this. And, I've also heard the psychopath say, I wonder if I can use this quality to get more business. In other words, that comment to me means they do have a knowledge, obviously, of when they're hurting people or when they're not hurting people. In other words, if people are pissed off yelling and you've stolen money from them or cheated behind their back, they know that this person will be hurt, will be ruined, and they know that they ruin people. It's just they know this fact, and they proceed anyway. And in fact, they get a certain escalation out of it. Just and here I am with my analogies again. let's say you find like an awesome pair of shoes, you're like, these are really comfortable, they don't give me blisters, like you're like, I'm excited. I think that's, you know, the kind of the jolt that they get from, you know, kind of like hurting other people or pulling one over on people. They just get off on it. And, you know, I think that, you know, they're this way their entire lives, and you're like, well, you know, would they ever grow out of this? They just don't grow out of it. I mean, in fact, it becomes more pronounced with time. So just be aware of that, the parasitic nature of these personality disordered people. And to resolve it, as a solution here in this video, you need to starve them out. You need to not feed them, which means literally, if you've been feeding them at your table, at your kitchen table, stop. If they've been sleeping at your house, get rid of them. If you've been feeding them with reactions, you know, nights out, negative or positive, you're still feeding their ego. It's received by them the same way. They're still having power over you, and they will continue to pursue you, stalk you. I mean, these people are dangerous. So I hope this helps shed some light and some perspective for you, and more future videos on how to really, you know, turn things around and get yourself into a more healthy, stable relationship. Peace and harmony here with you here today. Have a beautiful day. Please share and subscribe for more great tools, videos, and discussions.